So section 2 is about different conflict styles. We all have uh, a style that we use when we're a little bit more rational, and then there's a style that we use when we're a little bit more stressed. So what I want you to do is, if you look in the, I think it says links for chapter 11, the very first one says, oh, I wish I had written this down, something like conflict style assessment. So you're going to go in there, you're going to answer 15 questions, real simple, and then you have to do some calculations to figure out what your style is. And then what I want you to do once you have the results is come back into this, go through and see, does this make sense to you? Is this actually the way things play out? Interestingly, as I said, the first one, your highest number, is going to be when all goes well. This is the conflict style that you use. And the second one is when you're stressed. This is what you have a tendency to use. So let me minimize this. All right, so the first, what I did was, this is from a previous chapter. This is in the book. I like this way for some reason. I like the colors. So every conflict style, you either have we're looking at how concerned you are for yourself and how concerned you are for the other person. So you can be a low concern or high concern for either, or somewhere in the middle. So let's take them one at a time. The first one is avoidance. No big surprise. This is the turtle. And so, oops, never mind. See that thing at the bottom? It's not enough that we succeed. Cats must also fail. It's a very, it has nothing to do with this slide. A little glitch. Okay, I'll get rid of it. So avoidance, you don't have concern for yourself and you don't have concern for someone else. Why? Because you're not willing to try to resolve or manage this conflict. You figure, never mind, just let it go. The problem is it can be an unsatisfying relationship. You can start to feel used after a while. It's important to realize that this strategy of avoidance and the next one, accommodation, are actually considered valuable strategies in and I just went blank on it, a collectivist society. If you want to keep things running smoothly, don't rock the boat. Don't bring up the fact that there could be issues that could be resolved. Okay, so avoiding, it's a lose-lose relationship because it's no way, nothing happens. The next one, accommodating, is the teddy bear. You let others have their own way. Oh, this is the typical mom or grandma. Don't worry, you have the last piece of chicken. I'm not hungry. Okay, it means I have very high concern for you and not a lot of concern for myself. I'm not saying that accommodation is always a bad thing. Again, a low context culture and a collectivistic culture view this as a good thing. I'm sorry, backwards. A high context culture, collectivistic, see this as a good thing. It's face-saving, it's noble. We think of it less positively. Oh, so we have the cats must fail on all of these. I gotta fix this. Okay, competition is the shark. You have very high concern for yourself and low concern for others. And this is absolutely part of our culture. There's an interesting quote, whether we like it or not, we live in a competitive society. Our economy is competitive by design, and as a nation, we see in competition a challenge to develop our resources and ourselves. Somebody said to me, if you look at the sport that is most valued in a culture, and that gives you an idea of the overall cultural, whether it's a competitive culture or not. I would say football, basketball, baseball. We do not like these games to end in a draw. I mean, most competitions don't, but we will go to great lengths to actually make sure that we come out okay, come out ahead. So yes, there is something to be said for competition that can encourage people to stretch, so it can develop a relationship. But a downside is if you are trying to, if your competition is because you are controlling, that can breed aggression. And there are two kinds of aggression that we can look at. One of them is passive aggressive. Passive aggression. There's a link to just a funny video, Are You the Passive Aggressive Friend? So you can take a look at that. So you're letting someone know that you do not like what they are doing, but you're not doing so directly. You're doing it by sighing. What was it? Never mind, I'll do all the work myself. Or you're rolling your eyes, or you're being sarcastic, or you somehow make someone feel guilty about it. Okay, I love sarcasm. I would deny strongly that I am a passive aggressive person, but maybe I am. So we can all use humor and sarcasm in ways that are not passive aggressive behavior. Okay. They refer to passive aggressiveness as crazy making because it's very hard to call someone out on this. How do you call someone out on rolling their eyes? I saw you roll your eyes. Yeah. So, possibly more problematic is direct aggression, which is attacking someone's character or their competence or their physical appearance. Teasing is a kind of aggression. Ridiculing someone, threatening, swearing, shaking your fists. Do people even shake their fists anymore? The problem with, you all know this, the problem with direct aggression is it can have a very severe impact on the person that you are aggressing. And we will talk more about this in chapter 12. But, it has very harmful psychological effects. And interestingly, sometimes people say, well, it's just words, but there is a connection between verbal aggression and physical aggression. A lot of verbal aggressors move on to physical aggression. Okay, number 4 is compromise, which is negotiated loss, or lose. Yeah, lose. Sorry. So it's you get to, each person gets a little bit of what they want, although each person also gives up what they want. I was raised, okay, let's compromise on this. And I didn't think that was a terrible idea. But think about it this way. What if I said, okay, here's a situation and you need to compromise your values or your morals? You would probably say, no, I'm not going to do that. So compromise, if you are doing it not because you really have a lot of concern for the other person, it's just maybe you're tired of the situation, it's not such a good thing. Compromise is the fox, right? Yeah, compromise is the fox. Okay. The last one is collaboration, and this is the owl, where it's a win-win situation. So, to me, sometimes the biggest difference between deciding if it was a compromise or a collaboration has to do with how the parties feel. If you come out of the situation feeling that you got what you wanted, then and the other person says, yeah, I got what I wanted, that's a collaboration. If you come out saying, yeah, I didn't exactly get what I want, they didn't exactly get what I want, what they want, that's a compromise. So let me pick some names. Jason is going to sell his car, and who needs a car? Let me pick someone. And Nick's going to buy the car. And so Jason says, okay, it's a used car, and I really need to get $3,000 for it. And Nick says, I really need a car, but I can't pay any more than $2,000. And so they start negotiating, writing a number on a piece of paper and sliding it across the table. In any case, they finally decide on $2,500. If if Jason says, you know what, I wanted 3,000, but I'm really happy with 2,500. And Nick says, I really didn't want to pay more than 2,000, but this car is really good. And if I had tried to buy it elsewhere, I would have had to pay more. Then they collaborated on this. If they both come out of it kind of ticked off, then that was a compromise. It is very rare that we actually have cooperative or collaborative problem solving. It's just, I don't know if it's part of our culture, but it's very, very rare, possibly because we want to win at all costs. I'm not sure. But here's a question. Can you identify scenarios when collaboration would not be the most appropriate style to use? I'll throw that out to you. I mean, where are times where you realize that, no, you're not going to collaborate? I would say probably when my children were little, if we had a little bit of a conflict over something, they did not necessarily get we didn't collaborate. When they were really little, it was more like, no, it's my way. Okay, this is what I say goes. So maybe I was a bad mom. Not sure about that one. So you're in a situation and you say, which style should I use here? There's no real answer to that other than it depends. You have to consider the situation, the other person, and what your goals are. So in the days when we were free to leave our homes, I'm at work and all day I'm thinking about, when I get home, I'm going to have the last 3 orange Milano cookies. And I come in and my daughter's reaching for them. We have a conflict. Okay? We can't each have those 3 cookies. So what we have to do is consider, I'm going to consider, okay, I mean, are we going to damage our relationship over cookies? Okay. Now, if my goal is, damn it, I deserve these cookies because I had a crappy day, then I might say, give me those cookies. I need to win. Or, I could say, it could be a lose-lose. Okay, fine. We're just going to throw the cookies away. Or I might say, you know what? I had a bad day, but I can tell that she had an even worse day. So here, you have them. So what I want you to do is think of that conflict that you came up with at the very beginning of this chapter. Knowing what your default style is do you think that is the best way to handle this conflict? Or can you see that maybe you need to be flexible on this one? Okay, this is the end of the section 2. We are going to, oh my gosh, I got a lot of things here. We're going to take a break now.